so I go to the office and the Pioneer stereo system that we were waiting for has been sitting there this whole time. I don't know how long it was sitting there for.
It was on the day, at least the day. At least.
Yeah, so I'm literally here waiting to put this on, so whatever. It's finally here. This stock harness was already in the car, so we are gonna reuse this. And I have the subwoofer enclosure. I have it outside, and I put primer in it, self-aging primer. And once that dries, then we'll send it to the paint shop so they can finish it to their standards, and then they can paint it from there. So now that we have this going on, let me go get some connectors.
Touchscreen.
We actually use this in a lot of our cars. Mickey's Bad Apple has it, and pretty much the majority of the cars that we put stereos, we usually use the same exact stereo. We're gonna drop that in there. So let's get some tools. Bam. She a beauty. Ooh. She's sick, huh?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Into the interior because we got some parts that I've been waiting on for quite some time. This is our new Kdn Shifter Kit that we're going to be putting in our Eclipse. It is a beautiful piece that we purchased through Boost in Performance. They specialize in Eclipse and Evo parts, and this is one of the beautiful shifters that they have. We also got a staging brake. We have some new beautiful shift cables that are going to go along with it, and then this is the base plate that the shifter mounts to. This bolts in the car, and then our staging brake will mount onto that as well. So we are going to have to do some trimming to the center console to make all of this stuff work, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very excited for this. Well, let's get started putting this bad mamma jamma in. First step to installing the shifter is we got to get the old shift cables out, so we're going to knock those out real quick, and then we can start mounting the good stuff. About to get to mounting the base plate for the shifter. Got the shifter cable installed, done, attached to the transmission. We got to get our plate on, and then this goes on, and then we can start adjusting the cables to make it actually work. Then we can start trimming the center console and mount our staging brake.
Shifts in this car, you got big problems. This Kdn shifter feels really direct. Wow.
It's a lot more binary than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I like the reverse lockout too, so basically you can't throw it in reverse by accident, you gotta pull up on this.
It's nice because it's not crazy short either.
Yeah, and it has, I do like the fact that they have built-in stops too that you can adjust.
We have the shifter completely installed. We have our cables adjusted properly. Sometimes with the cable shifters, they can be a little tricky to set up. You gotta get both of the neutrals for the trans and for the shifter in the same spot, otherwise it was funky. So when I initially installed it, the shifter was in neutral, but the transmission was in right like that, which is the detent for the first gear. So if you pulled it out of neutral, in neutral, it would have gone straight up into first versus the proper way, which is straight up into third and fourth. So got that figured out. We got our staging brake mounted. Now I'm gonna start installing the center console, start adjusting the center console so that we can put it over the shifter. We're gonna have to do some trimming for the staging brake as well as for the shifter. I hope we don't have to trim too much to get it to fit properly, and then we're gonna have to find a boot setup that'll work for this. Center console installed and fitted. It's bolted down. Unfortunately, we are going to have to trim this piece, which is the only cup holder in the car, to make room for our staging brake. We're probably going to have to make more room when we start running the lines. Aside from that, we did have to trim the top part of the console. It does look pretty good. All in all, it is actually going together fairly well. So it's going to be very nice. We didn't have to do any trimming to the side of the console to fit the staging brake, but the side trim piece will have to be adjusted to fit that.
Looks really sick. The fact that you're able to put the factory brake back in and trim panels around it.
There's like very few installs that run the staging brake. I don't think I've seen a single one with a staging brake and full interior.
Look at the staging brake for a second. It's pretty cool. I like the Kdn handle, but I think we might need to come up with our own.
Really quick, if you hadn't heard, our next sweepstakes is live at throtl.com. We're giving away an R35 Nissan GTR 700 crank horsepower VR38 DET. Insanely fast car. It's the fastest car we've done yet. If you want to get entered to win, shop merch, parts, and components at throtl.com. Get those entries in if you want to win this thing. Every dollar you spend is one automatic entry to win this car. This car is nowhere near complete. We have a laundry list of modifications and components still to install. Full build is coming for this thing, so stay tuned. Subscribe to the Throtl channel if you want to watch us build this thing and then give it away. Now let's get back to the video.
Our package from Wilwood just arrived. This is a cool kit because this is made specifically for the Eclipse. This is something that Quinn's going to be installing today, and I'm super excited to see it on the car because it is kind of special. I mean, it's not a one-off by any means. This is a kit that Wilwood actually used to make a lot of, probably. But now that these cars are sort of like dinosaurs, there's not a whole lot of them roaming the streets anymore, and certainly not a whole lot of people hot rodding them. They went ahead and recreated their brake kit for us. If you have an Eclipse and you are looking to modify the brake system, this is a product that is still available through Wilwood. They do have a part number, and we do actually sell it on Throtl's website. So if you're interested and you want to mod your Eclipse brakes, head on over to throtl.com. You can order these up. Now, one thing they did do special for us was coat the caliper in a blue that matches the roll cage. Now, you know, this is a custom order color, but it is not custom for Throtl. This is something that they provide for any customer on the market. Not only do we have our front calipers in here, we also have a two-piece floating rotor.
Is that what these are? Are these the hats for them?
Correct. So before we get to those, just real quick, we've got stainless steel brake lines for the front. This comes with all the hardware. These are the vibration or anti-squeal pads. We've got our brake caliper mounts. So this transforms this factory caliper mount to the Wilwood caliper mount. And it also includes brake pads in here as well. So this is a full, basically, turnkey kit for the car. Pretty cool.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, a lot of times when you're assembling these, we have two rotors in the bottom of this box as well that this mounts to. This is our center hat that's drilled specifically for the car. And what this allows Wilwood to do is create create center hats for specific applications, but still utilize a standard outer rotor piece.
Yeah.
And also, which is cool because it makes those replaceable.
Yeah, so this is a proper 2-piece rotor setup.
I'd like to say a huge thank you to Willwood for making this happen. Again, like I said, this wasn't an off-the-shelf thing. They just went out in the warehouse, grabbed, and put on the UPS truck for us. They actually had to manufacture this, and they got it here in just a couple weeks' time. So super pumped to have them on board as a partner for this build. So if you're in the market to upgrade your brakes, check out Willwood on throtl.com.
Look at that ugly brake. I'm gonna start blowing these old brakes off. We need to get the pads, calipers, rotors, all that good stuff off before we can start assembling and installing our new Willwood stuff. That right there, that's not the look. So let's get started.
Is that you starting? Just sitting there staring at it? I knew you didn't work.
Ta-da! So we got our old brakes disassembled, and now it is time to start assembling our 2-piece rotors. So we have the top hat here, we have the rotor. Put her on like that. Now we gotta Loctite all of the hardware. We're gonna torque them down to a spec, which is 25 foot-pounds. So we just finished up the passenger side. We're gonna go head over to the driver's side and get this knocked out. This looks freaking fantastic compared to the stock brakes. I cannot wait to see this with the wheels that we're gonna get from HRE. But killer install, went super simple. Everything went together properly. This is gonna be awesome. This actually matches our roll cage perfectly. Willwood, excellent job making a brake kit. This thing went on fantastic. Just finished installing our other side. Our Willwood brake kit is fully installed. Tomorrow we're gonna start off by bleeding the brake system and then bleed the clutch, and then we'll go from there. Yesterday we finished installing the Willwood brake kit. Now we're gonna be bleeding all the brakes and bleeding the clutch. We're gonna be using Motul brake fluid. Promo code right here if you wanna get yourself some Motul brake fluid. So let's get started to it. Get started to it. Let's get started.
Come on!
Let's get started, bro. Let's do it.
I'm sitting in the frame of the Sparkle seat, which the frame is smaller than my bumpies. So
Then
it's
your
like,
bump is?
Than my bumpies. Bumpy means butt in Spanish. Which means my butt is like coning. It's like, shit, yeah. Let's get some pats onto this.
We just finished bleeding the brakes. All the calipers are good. We got clean fluid coming out of everything. And now I'm gonna try it out. See how it feels. Oh, we don't have a seat. Oh, that's solid. Cool, all right, onto the clutch. We have a working clutch and a working brake setup. Everything bled properly, everything feels good. We're done with the brake and clutch system, moving on to the next project.
What's happening here is I'm hijacking Quinn's project because I like doing the fun fab work. So we basically have our turbo neck right here. We've ordered a conical aluminum jammer, which is gonna get us up to 2.5, which is what our intercooler is. We're gonna basically just start creating the intercooler piping flow. We've got our Mishimoto quick disconnect clamps that are gonna go in this process. And actually there's gonna be one right here and there's gonna be one right here. It's gonna allow us to easily drop this pipe out. We may even actually put one in the center of that, so it's a 2-piece. And now I don't weld with aluminum, so today we're just gonna use a lot of blue tape and blue tape weld everything together as we fab it up. And then when Evan comes in after his vacation, he'll weld everything up for us. So we're gonna get this side done now. We can't move on to the intake side because we don't have our intake manifold yet, and you guys are gonna be excited to see that when it comes in because it's pretty sick. Now we're gonna start making the first bend. So we've got a 90-degree aluminum bend here. I like to use a zip tie just to get a nice straight line. I thought I made a nice straight line with the tape, and as you can see, once I put the zip tie on, which can have a little variable too in it, you can kind of wiggle them around, but it's a lot straighter than my tape line is, as you can see. And so I'll just run this through the bandsaw, get it nice and straight, and I can clean up the cut on our sanding disc over here and get it nice and basically 90 degrees. That way it fits into the Mishimoto coupler really nicely, which the Mishimoto coupler is made to fit over top of this 2.5-inch ID. So really cool stuff. If you haven't seen those Mishimoto couplers, I suggest checking them out.
While Mickey is working on our air intake system for the intercooler and the turbo, I'm gonna start working on the fuel system. We have a full E85 tank to fuel rail STM kit here, full of AN fittings, vibrant performance stuff. And so me and Ricky are gonna tackle this, start getting our lines ran and getting things figured out. And then we'll kind of meet in the middle.
Why did you stop like that?
Ricky's up there working on the fuel pump right now to get our lines figured out and get our connectors so that we can start running this to our AN fittings. I'm gonna start assembling the line. We're gonna kind of meet in the middle. I'm gonna feed the line up and then start running the line underneath the car, making our way up front to the fuel rail. Let's get started. That's my first AN install ever. Cool. Very nice. So this is the main fuel line that's gonna run from the tank. It's gonna run up underneath and then go up into the engine bay. That's gonna get mounted to our filter, and then it's gonna go from the filter to our beautiful rail. So right now I wanna get this mounted underneath the chassis, and then from there we're gonna figure out where our fuel filter is gonna mount. All right guys, that is gonna be it for this video. We got our shifter installed, we got our center console, our stereo deck is in. The Wilwood brakes turned out fantastic. They're bled, the clutch is bled. We are on track to get this thing going to SEMA in a timely manner. We should have this thing up and running in no time. We also just got our wheels in. They look amazing. We got a fitment check. They fit perfectly, but you guys are gonna have to wait till the next video to see that. I'm very excited. If you guys are enjoying this Eclipse content, like and subscribe. Leave us a comment down below saying how much you guys enjoy this build. I'm hoping in the next week or so we should have this thing up and running. We're almost there. This build is turning out super epic. We just got a lot of new parts in for the engine, and some are about to get here that we need to get this thing going. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.